I'm Danielle. Welcome to my channel. So today this video is going to cover the basics of weight loss. As a lot of you know, I've lost 100 pounds and I've kept it off over the years. And the question that I get asked the most often is, how did you do it? A lot of people want to know, was it diet? Was it exercise? Was it a combo? What's most important? Because most people just want to lose weight and they want to do it as quickly as possible. So I'm going to give you the basics. When it comes to weight loss, most people don't necessarily want to lose weight. They want to lose body fat. Now, the only way to really lose body fat is to burn more calories than you eat. There's a personal trainer that I follow, his social media, and he describes your body as a bank account. So everything that you eat, consider that a deposit into your bank account. All the movement that you do, exercise, just moving around in general, that would be a withdrawal. So if you are taking in more food than you're burning off, you're going to have a surplus in your bank account and you're going to have a surplus of body fat at the end of the day. So that's basically it. You know, there's a lot of different diets out there: keto, paleo, high carb, vegan, all these other types of diets. I mean, there's even companies like Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, you name it. So the premise of all of these diets really boils down to a calorie deficit. Now, a lot of people think, oh, calories, that's so old school, that's 80s, nobody does that anymore. Or even better, I hear a lot of, well, calories don't matter, not all calories are the same. But calories do matter. Calories are nothing more than a unit of measurement. So a calorie is the amount of time it takes to heat water up 1 degree Celsius. That's what it is. It's a unit of measurement. So if you can do simple addition and simple subtraction, you can lose weight, because that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day, is math. That's it. Now, another thing that confuses people is they get a lot of different information on how many calories you should be eating a day. So some websites will tell you all women should eat 1,200 calories a day if they want to lose weight. Men should eat 1,500. Now, these numbers are really low. They're geared more towards people who are maybe already on the low side of their weight and they're just wanting to lose those last few pounds, or it's just a general thing for everybody. But at the end of the day, there are so many online calculators that are free that will tell you how many calories you should be taking in a day. And then from there, you can go and start your own diet. So the general idea of most diets is that you'll figure out how many calories you need to eat a day based on those online calculators. And then if you want to lose 1 pound of body fat, you will eat 500 calories less per day than your recommended amount. So for an average person, they say 2,000 calories a day, right? That's what it says on every nutrition label, everything. And so if this person that needs 2,000 calories a day only eats 1,500 calories a day, at the end of the week, that will be a deficit of 3,500 calories. Now, 3,500 calories is what they equate to 1 pound of body fat. So if you eat that deficit of 500 calories a day, by the end of the week, you should have lost 1 pound of body fat. That's really, honestly, at the end of the day, it's that simple, that easy. That's all you really need to do. You don't need special shakes, you don't need teas, you don't need detoxes, anything like that. It's all ridiculous, and at the end of the day, it's a money-making scheme. So if you really just want the basics and want to know, hey, you know, I've tried this diet, I've tried this, it's all calorie deficit. So these people that are eating these healthy foods, at the end of the day, if you're eating more calories than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. That's just what it is. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're eating totally green foods, grilled lean meats. It really does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're eating Twinkies. At the end of the day, you have to burn more calories than you eat. Now, am I saying eat a completely unhealthy diet that's filled with junk food as long as it's in your calories? No, of course I'm not saying that. You're going to be miserable and you're going to feel like crap. What I'm saying is that what you eat doesn't matter as much as how much of it you're eating. And that's something to keep in mind. So, now that we know you have to just eat basically 500 calories less a day than what you're burning, then how do we use that in our everyday life? Well, I'll show you. So, this is a food scale. This, I think, was not even $10. You can get them anywhere. And I also want to mention, there are some intricacies when it comes to calories, and you might have heard of this, and it's called macros. So what macros are their macronutrients, carbs, protein, and fats. All foods have some sort of segment of one of these three, or all three, or two of the three. So if you have something like chicken, that's going to have protein and fat. If you have broccoli, it's going to have carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Minimal fat, but the fat's still there. Bread is comprised of carbohydrates and protein. So the way that macronutrients come into play within diet is you need to understand what each macronutrient does, as well as its calorie content. A lot of people think that carbohydrates are bad for you. That's the new current diet trend that's going around, the latest fad. Carbohydrates are only 4 calories per gram. So if you have 1 gram of a carbohydrate, it's only 4 calories. If you have 1 gram of protein, that's also only 4 calories for that 1 gram. Now, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. You can see now where a lot of people that do the low carb diets tend to have trouble, because fat is double the calories of either a carbohydrate or a protein. So when you have somebody that's eating mostly fat, when you have things like cheese, butter, bacon, eggs, cream, those type of things, the same amount of food, if that was a carbohydrate, would be less than half the calories. Calories are what make the difference. And you can see where it would be more troublesome for someone that is doing a low carbohydrate diet to lose weight, because at the end of the day, they're eating higher calorie foods. And that's what's important for a lot of people to understand. It's not that these fat calories go away. If you eat low carbohydrates, your body doesn't just start burning fat off your body. It's burning the fat that you're eating, and you're eating more of it. So that's how that works. So even though fat is double the amount of calories as protein or carbohydrates, it's very important to our diets. I'm not saying don't eat fat because it's high in calories, but you have to eat it in moderate quantities. Fat also helps with your hormone levels. It helps you be satisfied with the foods that you're eating, and it does add flavor. Now, protein, on the other hand, that's only 4 calories per gram. Protein is very important for building muscle. It gives your body amino acids, which allows your body to recover from everyday activities. And a lot of people also say that it's harder for your body to digest protein, so therefore you're able to lose more weight if you eat higher protein content. I personally don't know the science behind that. I do think it's important to eat protein, but do I think that it's the end all be all that everyone makes it out to be? No, I don't. I think ultimately it's calories. Unless you're a bodybuilder, I don't think it's that important. Now, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are your body's preferred source of energy. A lot of people that do keto will say that your body prefers to burn fat. That's not true. If you see most endurance athletes, they will eat a lot of carbohydrates. I eat a lot of carbohydrates. When I was doing my weight loss over the course of a year, I was eating probably 350 grams of carbohydrates or more. Now, I know that's hard to understand in everyday terms, but I was eating double the amount of carbohydrates as I was protein, and then I was eating less fat. just to make it more of an easy idea for you. And two, carbohydrates make you feel better. You know, everybody's miserable if you try to cut out bread. So if it's not necessary, there's no point in cutting out an entire macronutrient out of your diet. There is a caveat to that, however, though. There are certain people, if you're insulin resistant, or if you have some other hormonal issues like PCOS, there's a few others, or any sort of autoimmune issue, then dietitians will usually tell you to cut back on your carbohydrates. You don't want to cut them out completely, but cutting back could help you lose weight in those instances. Everyone's macronutrient breakdown, everyone's calorie level is going to be different. It's dependent upon your height, your weight, your age, all those type of things. Really, metabolism level, body type, those type of things, they really don't make too much of a difference. And here's why. Your activity level is more what allows you to burn the calories. There may be people who metabolize food differently, but it's not going to be as significant of an issue as whether you're moving or not. So the person who maybe walks to work, takes the stairs, parks at the other end of the parking lot, those types of people are going to just naturally lose more weight because of their activity level. So I would focus more on just making sure that you're moving as much as you can. Fitbits are great for that. I track my steps. I'm in multiple weekly competitions with my friends to try to get as many steps as I can. That's a great motivator. Exercise is great, but ultimately what it all boils down to is your diet. They say you can't out-exercise a bad diet, and that is true. Now, is that comprised of bad foods, or is that comprised of solely your calorie intake? Honestly, it's your calorie intake. It's really not necessary to cut any food unless it's an issue for you or it's super high calorie. There's not really a need to cut any specific foods or food groups out of your diet. It's also not important to eat healthy all the time, exercise all the time. None of that really makes a difference. It's more the calories that you take in. There's a lot of different online calculators that will give you your particular calorie breakdown. Yours are going to be very different from mine. I'm under 5 foot tall, so when people ask me how many calories a day do you eat, well, I'd like to eat more if I could, but unfortunately, 4 foot life, right? There you go. So just don't let people browbeat you into doing your diet the way they think you should do it. There's a lot of people out there that will say, oh, well, if you do it this way, or if you eat this type of food, or if you eat at these certain times, you'll lose weight. That's the only way to do it. You know, when our ancestors were walking the earth, blah, blah, blah. Really, at the end of the day, that does not make a huge difference. Now, if you feel better only eating in an 8-hour window and you say, hey, I can manage this, I'm eating less, great, good for you. Do that then. If you say, I'm miserable after I eat a big helping of carbohydrates, so I would rather not eat carbs and cut that out of my diet, great, cut it out. Eat low carb if you want. Whatever works for you. Just don't let people tell you that their way is the only way. I've also noticed that a lot of people who try to insist that their way works, it's what they say, they read that Butter Bob said keto's the way to go. Listen, I'm going to give you some cold hard truth. I decided early on that I was not going to take advice from people who did not follow this themselves. If Butter Bob is only taking pictures from the neck up, sorry, bud, I'm not going to take your advice. Obviously, it's not working for you. In fact, there was a guy the other day who was very rude to me online and said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't lose weight if you eat carbohydrates. Your body only burns fat. It only wants to burn fat. You'll never be able to do anything. You won't be able to go. You won't be able to do any exercise. Okay, well, first of all, dude, you obviously have no idea what you're talking about. Your grammar was horrific. Horrific. So there you go. Obviously, you're not too educated. But what this person failed to realize is, one, I've lost 100 pounds and I've kept it off. Two, I've done it without being miserable. Three, oh, well, Mr. Magoo, I have done extreme activities. I've now ran races. I've hiked mountains. I've climbed mountains. I even hiked the Grand Canyon with my 4-year-old on my back. So if I can do that, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to just drop dead after walking to the mailbox. So at the end of the day, don't let people force you into doing something that they think you should do, or don't let them bother you. You do what you want to do. At the end of the day, there is the science that tells you, but as long as you're sticking to the diet and you're eating less than you're burning, you'll get there. If I can do it, you can do it. It's simple, it's science. Learn the math, you'll be great.